Hello and welcome to From a Basement in Tulsa. I'm Jason Ferguson, and I'm here with my friend Travis Kidd. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Dude, I'm good. I'm so excited to hang out with you. I've been listening to your songs.
Well, I'm a fan of the podcast, no doubt about it.
Thanks.
I tune in every now and then whenever I get a chance.
That's cool. It's cool that you messaged me first. We were just talking about the podcast, and then I saw you at Maggie's CD release party.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, come over.
Yeah, I'd love to. You bet.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited for Thompson Square. Let's listen to a song, man.
Okay.
You want to play Oklahoma Sunset?
Let's do Oklahoma Sunset first. It's recorded. It's about 8 years old now, but it was chosen for the Oklahoma Centennial, kind of their song for the Centennial Committee celebration back in 2007. They liked the song a lot, and I played it at quite a few events during the Oklahoma Centennial year. And so, yeah, here it is, Oklahoma Sunset.
Oh, cool, man. Here it is.
Well, this Oklahoma sunset brings me back to a place I know I'll never forget. Sitting here waiting on another day, purple skies with a touch of gray. No more troubles that I can see. Life is good for you and me. Love comes easy, you know I'll have to say. Another Oklahoma sunset just a day away. Well, it was hot, so hot we were almost frying. The weatherman, yeah, he keeps on lying about the cold front coming in from the north. No rain for weeks, the crops were dying, the windows open and the baby's crying, but we're still looking good for the cookout on the 4th. Oh yeah, well the wind's blowing through like we opened the oven. The sun's going down, then we all started running to that Oklahoma sunset that brings me back to a place I know I'll never forget. Sitting here waiting on another day, purple skies with a touch of gray. No more troubles that I can see. Life is good for you and me. Love comes easy, you know I'll have to say. Another Oklahoma sunset's just a day away. Oh, just a day away. Well, now every now and then, somewhere, sometimes, trouble's at your door, hit another stop sign. Gotta keep moving till the pain rolls away. Well, I open up my arms, take on all I can. You know I've been known to have a backup plan. It sure looks like it's gonna rain today. Oh yeah. Well, the wind's blowing through like we opened the oven. The sun's going down and we all started running to that Oklahoma sunset that brings me back to a place I know I'll never forget. Sitting here waiting on another day, purple skies with a touch of gray. No more troubles that I can see. Life is good for you and me. Love comes easy, you know I'll have to say that the good Lord was hanging out here with me today. Well, this Oklahoma sunset brings me back to a place I know I'll never forget. Sitting here waiting on another day, purple skies with a touch of gray. No more troubles that I can see. Life is good for you and me. Love comes easy, you know I'll have to say. Another Oklahoma sunset's just a day away. Well, this Oklahoma sunset brings me back to a time I know I'll never forget.
What a great song, Travis.
Thank you.
Man, and we just went through the most crazy trouble trying to figure out what was making this thing sound bad, but we fixed it. It was a cable.
Sounds great.
I was trying to get away with using a crappy cable to avoid setting some things up because I took everything to the marathon this weekend. But have you played that? Have you played the Route 66 thing?
I played it a few years ago. I was set up down on Riverside, and like you said earlier, it was kind of strange because a group of people would run by, and then you'd wait, and then some more people, and then you'd it's over with, and then no, here comes 3 or 4 more people.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
I played a couple years ago. My friend James always comes and helps me set up just because we have a good time, and his family's running in it. So hello, James, thanks for your help. But a couple years ago we did it, and I played in front of Hunt Club.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because that's my house, that's where I live.
Yeah.
So I just plugged in my extension cord, and pretty much my room is what the Hunt Club is.
Oh yeah.
But that was like mile 16, so I never really got a steady flow. But this year I was at mile 3 and mile 16, so I kind of got both views of it. And so at 8:20, 12,000 people just started piling through. There wasn't a whole lot of distance between people yet because it just started.
That's cool.
So it was crazy, and it was like 50 degrees outside and beautiful. And leaves were falling everywhere. And I was in front of this beautiful Temple Israel. I didn't even know that was a place, but I really want to see inside there. I want to go tour their chapel or what.
Yeah.
Anyway, Oklahoma Sunset. It's a beautiful song.
Well, thank you. Earlier I mentioned that the Oklahoma Centennial Committee got hold of the song. I actually sent them an acoustic version of it, which is on our CD, and they liked it a lot and chose it as their official song. Sent me a nice certificate from the governor at the time. I don't even know who was it back then. I have no idea.
Well, it's probably better. You probably didn't hate them as much as some people hate our current one, because you don't really remember them. I think our current governor may be remembered by a lot of people.
I think so too.
For a very long time.
Sadly, yes.
But I was listening at work, and I'm always trying to get inside my headphones and disappear because I'm at this place for 40 hours. Wow. What I was doing doesn't really take a lot of concentration the past few days. So I was overanalyzing your song, and I was thinking about how a lot of people talk about the sunset, and then I was thinking about how the life of a musician, how often do you see, everybody's talking about sunrise.
Oh, yeah.
But, I was like, how often do you see a sunrise? Not quite as often unless you're
going to bed.
Unless you're going all night. So it was just a cool idea, I think, that you were singing about the sunset.
Yeah.
Instead.
That song came up when I was, believe it or not, living in Nashville back in the 90s. A friend of mine from Oklahoma and I were driving to a rehearsal, and he was like, look at that sunset right there. That's almost as good as the ones back in Oklahoma. And I was like, yeah, you're right, man. That's nice. And it stuck with me for 10 years, and I finally wrote the song. And, there's a lot of other interlaced ideas in the song. It's not necessarily just about the sunset, but it's about just everyday life and, searching for a better day tomorrow. It's kind of what it's all about, too. So, yeah.
I like it.
Cool, man.
I listened. I don't know what album is that on?
It's on Mid-America. That's our last full-length album that we recorded, and it's, I think we did it. It's copywritten in 2008, so it's going on 6 years old now. So
that's still new.
Yeah, well, Willis Allen Ramsey recorded his first album in 1972, and he's still working on his follow-up. So,
nice.
Yeah, we're hoping for one.
I'm hoping I maybe write a song in the next 10 years. Well, that'd be good.
I'm wanting to write some new stuff, too. I've been doing more of electronica kind of trancey kind of sounding instrumental stuff lately, and so I've kind of almost gotten away from the lyrical side of things. I'm more of a guitarist anyway.
Right.
Lyrics have always been tough for me.
I can't play guitar at all. So we should start a country band.
Well,
I'm in. I want to start a country band.
Electronica, trance country.
I'm into it. Just I don't know. Sturgill Simpson, I was mentioning before. Yeah, you gotta listen to him. I don't know. I'm just fanboying over him right now.
Yeah.
Because he sings a lot about a lot of things I really enjoy, and he was on a few podcasts after I heard about him, and my friend Jason Fisher sent him my way. I think you should check it out. He does some.
I've heard so much about him. Yeah.
I wish I could play his songs. He'll be here the day before I'm going to go see Garth. So
yeah, wow.
He'll be in a casino a few miles. I don't know.
Really? Wow.
3 hours away. Windstar, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's way down there at Thackerville. It's down on the border of Oklahoma and Texas. We played there a time or two.
I want to go see him, but he's playing with Jason Isbell, so tickets are like $75. So that's just not going to happen. You should call him up. Call your people. Get him connected at Cain's.
Yeah.
I'll hit you up for free tickets.
I'm surprised he hasn't been at Cain's.
Let's your gig that I heard about on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Thompson Square. That's
December 9th. I kind of got hooked up through KVOO 98.5 KVOO here in Tulsa. On that, I've done a few events for them over the last year or so. At Cain's, I did a thing with. It was an opening pre-party for Casey Musgraves.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard her.
Yeah, and
I've heard her cover of One Republic Apologize.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of makes me pretty mad because I'm better at it.
Really?
I cover that song better.
I haven't heard her version or your version yet. I need to check that out too. But KVO has been cool, and they've offered me some pretty awesome little gigs, and this being one with Thompson Square. I'm not too familiar with their music, but I know it's a husband and wife duo, I think. And I think they're from maybe around Joplin originally.
No clue.
They're pretty big as far as I can tell.
How I'm connected with them is I was doing a show at Cain's a couple years ago, and I was passing out flyers that had my show on it, but on the back was just a big paste of their show. So I passed out like 1,000 flyers with them on it. And I was like, you know what? I might as well just go see them, and then loved them.
Oh, really?
I mean,
good.
It was amazing. Cain's has a special thing when you're a Cain's fanboy like Jason.
Cain's is cool.
So that's a plus for them, and I just had a great time. And so now I'm really excited to go see them for dang free.
Yeah, it's free.
You have to go places and get tickets.
I think so. It's pretty much on the KVO website, kind of the directions on how to get the tickets. But we're our set is slated from I think 6 to 6:45, which is early. But the main show, I think Thompson Square starts at 8. So we're kind of doing the first act, and then the second act is someone else I'm not familiar with, Ray Ann, somebody.
No, I think she's on The Voice. Is that right?
Well, maybe. I haven't ever watched that.
True. That might not be true.
And then Thompson Square after that. So, but yeah, it should be fun. I'm bringing my 3-piece band in, so we're going to rock out.
Is that the mid-highs, right?
The high mids.
The high mids.
Kind of like, it's not quite to the high end, but not too low. It's it's that high mid area that kind of gets in your head.
That's what they're called. Who does that consist of?
Well, it's Mark Meeker. He's a Tulsa killer drummer that's been around here for quite a while. He's been playing with us for 5 or 6 years. Sometimes we have David Teagarden Jr. playing with us on occasion. The bass player Josh Richards has been with us for, he's been playing in the band for 7 or 8 years. And when he's not available, Joey Trevino plays bass. So I've kind of got a section of buddies that
just beasts
that I can call in and say, hey, can you do this gig? So and so can't make it. Sure, I can do it. And it's great fun. Anyway,
did you have any fun finding guys that you can rely on, going through the potential musicians?
The list. Yeah, man. Well, it's one cool thing about Tulsa is, man, there's some great players around here, and I haven't really gone wrong so far. So I've got a pretty good bunch of buddies that are excellent musicians, and so it's not too much of a problem if somebody can't make it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's my guest star. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the podcast, but this helicopter starts flying over at about dark every day, and I don't know what's going on.
Well, hopefully it's not trouble.
Yeah, this is a good time to transfer to ease into another song. What do you have for me, man?
Well, since we're doing a podcast and we're beyond the FCC, is that right?
That's true.
This next song is the original version of our song called Tow Man, which is about a tow truck driver in Telluride, Colorado. A buddy of mine up there asked me to write a little jingle for his tow truck company when I was living in Telluride back in 2000, 2001. So I put together a kind of a rap hip hop version that would work on a radio show, a radio station. And I used acid loops in my little laptop and looped it all together. And I sent you the original version of it to play.
That's too cool, man.
It's something totally different. And
I've heard it on the album, the Tow Man.
The album version is the rock and roll version that we play normally.
Yeah.
But this version that you've got, I sent both versions to you. But this first version is the radio commercial edit that is actually not safe for commercial radio.
It says explicit.
It's explicit. So, and it's influenced heavily by Eazy-E and early NWA. I'll have to tell you that.
I'm really pumped. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Tell you
burn one down. Any nigga, this is coming straight from me. Sounded like the motherfucking General Lee. It was a big ass diesel with a lift on the back. He loaded my car up on the rack. He said, mister, we're getting you out of here. When the toll man's coming, you should never fear. Ain't no man like a toll man. 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 Yeah, you motherfucker right. Little way back home was a hell of a ride. 80 miles an hour down the mountainside. I got so fucked up from the shit he was smoking. I took a big hit and started choking. So how did you know I ran off in a ditch and got ran over by a son of a bitch? He said, waiting by the phone, it's gonna ring. The toll man knows most everything. Ain't no man like the toll man. 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 Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is, and you can hear this. Where was it? You just said, you just told me.
Telluride, Colorado. You know, I don't think it's probably, well, I think the tow truck company is defunct at this point. And a buddy of mine moved to Atlanta.
No fault to the song though.
No, they loved it. And it was, you know, all the hippies, snowboarder, you know, ski bum dudes up there were really all about it. And they thought it was hilarious. And it was meant to be a joke. And then we started playing it live and it turned into the rock version, or the version that's on the CD. So
Yeah.
it's totally different.
It's so cool you'd bring that here, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
that.
It's not available anywhere.
I was picturing it watching like the tow truck driver TV shows, you know, where they go and take people's cars.
Dude, yeah.
We should push that too.
I have been for the last 3 or 4 years. Actually, my last trip to Nashville was with, I had a meeting with a company called Average Joe Records Entertainment, and they're the ones who do the soundtracks for South Beach Towing and what's the other one? Lizard Lick Towing.
Yeah.
And all those shows. And they're like, well, we liked what you gave us and sent us, but we've already got songs for those shows. I was like, makes sense.
Yeah, but this one.
Yeah, and
Did
they're like,
you hear what I just played you?
yeah, and he was like, "No, we've already got that part recorded and done, and we already have those."
Who do we
I'm
talk
like,
to?
I swear.
We're gonna have to get like a tow truck driver that's a total stoner. I'm here to get your car, man.
Yeah.
And then that song plays in the background, and that's
There's a few people on YouTube have taken that song and made their own tow truck videos on
That's
YouTube
cool.
with those with the real version, not the rap version, not the NWA version.
I'm really appreciating you bringing that. That's
Yeah.
kind of unheard stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And it says the F word. Oh
Oh
no,
no.
the radio can't have that.
Well, that's why it's a hidden jewel.
What would be, I guess, your story we should get into of playing music, starting out? I mean, you've
Yeah.
been around more than Tulsa for sure.
Yeah, I moved back to Tulsa in 01. I'm from Pryor originally. Graduated from Pryor High School in 92. Left out of there in 93. Went to Nashville for a few years. Went to Fayetteville for quite a few years, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Nashville again. And then found my way to Tampa and was playing the beach scene for about a year, up and down the beach, Tampa Bay coast, you know, the inner Gulf Coast area.
It sounds like it wouldn't suck.
It was okay. And then moved back to Nashville once again, then Fayetteville, then Nashville. I've lived in Nashville 4 times since 1992. And the last time I lived in Nashville, I started coming back to Tulsa off and on. This was in 2001, and realized that, man, I kind of like it back here in Oklahoma again. And I still go to Nashville and travel back and forth and hang, and I still got a lot of friends there. But started playing music up here and reconnecting with all my old buddies and family, and built a pretty good fan base in the 2000s. And so I'm here, now. I got married in 2005. Now I've got 3 kids of my own and a stepson and a full house there, and doing the dad thing and still playing music full time, man. I've been doing it for a jobby job since about 98. My last job I worked for the University of Arkansas for their audio video department and for the athletic department doing stuff. And that was in 99, I guess. And but then moved back to Tulsa, and I've just been kicking it around here since then.
Yeah, good. I'm welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit late.
13 years. Yeah.
I love this place.
Yeah.
And I recently had a guest that didn't like it so much, but
yeah.
But he's entitled to that. I can understand. I don't know if my songs were on the radio everywhere else and they weren't in my hometown, I would probably just cry. I wouldn't get angry. I would just cry about it.
It's a drawback. Tulsa's, like double-edged sword, man. It's great. Brian Parton, an old friend of mine, mentioned it a long time ago. It's like Tulsa being kind of a black hole for musicians. You can stay here and make a living at it and do pretty good, but the big picture is pretty hard to see from Tulsa, sadly.
Yeah.
Because of one thing, radio doesn't support hardly any original music around here unless it's a podcast or an independent station of some sort, which is not. Is there any? Maybe the radio station in Claremore.
Yeah.
At the Roger State.
Yeah. Josh and Garrett. Good dudes.
They do that. And David Souders has always been good at it. And Lynn Hernandez sometimes plays some originals here and there.
It's actually great to come up. They started a podcast called Green Shorts. Those guys they're putting their show Center Stage in a podcast format. So Josh and Garrett came on early on my podcast, and we talked about it. And they said they were going to think about starting a podcast, and they were going to call it Garth Mullet, but they called it Green Shorts instead.
Green Shorts?
Yeah. I don't know what it means. I should ask him.
Well, Souders has always been real good, and he's always been pretty helpful in playing a lot of our stuff. And every now and then we'll hear something on KMOD, one of the originals. And we used to do the KMOD morning show quite a bit back in the Phil and Brent days.
Yep. I've got some songs on all. I think all the local segments have been real good.
Yeah.
To me. I appreciate them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I never really venture out of Tulsa much, so I don't know. I don't know the big picture. I just freaking love this place. I got my little basement.
Sure, it's cool. Tulsa's comfy, and it's becoming pretty darn metropolitan. I mean, the downtown is really kicking butt right now.
Having seen both sides of I remember probably the first time I went to Hunt Club and in Canes, and then that was 5 or 6 years ago, and now downtown is just it's insane. Every time I go, there's a new place that I don't know what it's called. Right. I used to feel strong about knowing everything in downtown, but
totally
there's places that it just blows me. It's so exciting. I think
it's cool. Yeah, I'm glad to see it turning around, and it's really awesome. I don't really play downtown much, but I like to go hang out sometimes, go to restaurants and maybe see some bands here and there. But
yeah,
I pretty much play 4 or 5 nights a week. So I don't get a chance to do a lot of that.
Yeah, there's not much partying hard.
Not anymore.
Me too, man. I was reading. I really like how you describe your bio, how you talk about what kind of music you play. It's like a little bit of Red Dirt, lots of rock and roll, but I just it's Oklahoma music.
Oh, I think Gary Heiser wrote that from formerly of Urban Tulsa. He wrote me a real nice bio page. I asked him one day, and it took him a couple weeks, and he came up with something pretty nice. And so he kind of classified it as being unclassified.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's cool. Because you can in your album you can hear there's definitely some pretty country songs, and there's some that just aren't country at all.
There's some heavy stuff. There's some heavier stuff on there. Like I said earlier, Soupbone, my friend Soupbone, played guitar on a couple of tracks because I wanted some shred.
Yeah, that dude can do it.
And he came in one take, just blistered it. And I sent you a few of those too. And then there's some more country, traditional boogie kind of barroom sounding songs on there too. So I was influenced a lot by 80s hair metal, of course. And being a guitar player, I loved all that stuff. Also influenced by Southern rock. I love Allman Brothers, Charlie Daniels, Hank Jr., Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker. And, man, I also like pop a lot.
Yeah.
And, man, the new stuff, I guess because I have children that listen to Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez and stuff like that. There's some great pop going on right now in the world. And I like it.
I'm into it as well. I don't know. I think the past probably year I've missed out on a lot of what the popular songs are because I've been so wrapped up in listening to podcasts and getting obsessed. But I don't know, there's some of the songs that I catch. I'm like, oh man, this is really great.
Yeah.
But I'm super easily.
I did a
taken away.
remix recently for my daughter's cheerleading squad. She's in 2nd grade, and they sent me some songs to edit together for a cheerleading routine. And one was Taylor Swift, "Shake It Off." What's the one about the bass? All about the bass.
Yeah.
And another one, and it was like, man, these songs kind of jam.
Yeah, they're stuck in your head for 6 years.
And 10 years ago, I'd be, this shit sucks. But now I'm like, I like it. I guess the older I get, the easier I am to
impress.
Yeah.
Well, let's play your new pop song that's called.
Yeah, really. I do the instrumental. If you want to try that one next, it's kind of got some kind of it's not trance by any means, but it's pop oriented instrumental. And it's called Erie, Pennsylvania. And the only reason I call that because the song sounded kind of eerie.
Yeah.
When I recorded it, but then I didn't want to call it Erie, like spell it Erie. I spelled it Erie as in Erie, Pennsylvania. I once went to Erie, Pennsylvania. The song has nothing to do with Erie, Pennsylvania, but the sound of it is kind of a little bit eerie. That's all there is to it. That's the whole thing.
Here it is.
All right.
Nice indeed. I like that, man.
Just trying to chill out stuff.
What you're talking about? I mean, obviously, incredible guitarist.
Well, thank you.
Yourself, and writing music without lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? I guess.
Well, I think
with the inspiration. I guess I don't know.
I'm definitely more inspired to come up with cool guitar riffs than I am lyrics for sure. And lyrics I've always struggled with it. And to try to write a new album is just kind of, now I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do? I've got 3 or 4 new songs with lyrics, but I've got so many ideas of music. And I thought, I wouldn't mind putting an instrumental album out like with stuff like that. And I like it. I love guitar. Guitar is my first love. I mean, I'm more impressed by a great guitarist than I am a great vocalist, I think.
I just don't know shit. about music itself. I've been learning. You see all these. I got a piano here and these bell things. I'm trying to learn everything that I should know. That I should have learned because when I first started playing, my brother taught me a couple chords. The next week I was playing a gig. Like seriously, not maybe 2 weeks, but I had G, C, and D, and I had a lot to say.
Yeah. Well,
So I never really went back to just learn everything there is to know, or really anything there is to know about why the guitar makes all these chords, or why this chord is a chord, or so. I'm trying to go back because now I don't want to write the same songs. I guess is what I'm trying to do. I don't want the same format of all the songs. So it really, I don't know, impresses me to see the inspiration, or I guess the motivation to just put yourself into an instrumental song.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool because I like that, because the songwriter isn't imposing themselves on the listener.
Right.
You just kind of get the feel, and then your mind can take that song wherever you want to.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's great. Actually, on the album in Mid America, the title track Mid America is an instrumental, a lot like that I actually recorded and wrote when I lived in Nashville in the 90s, and I had it as a WAV file for 10 years, stored away for some certain, if I ever need to use it, and we had room on the album to put one more song. I said, let's do this, put the instrumental on. And it's drum machines and some slide guitar and some synth. And I had a Poly 800 Korg, little 80s analog fatty keyboard.
Yeah.
Used it for a lot of the bass on it. And it's on the album, and it's called Mid America. And people like it. They're like, man, that is one of my favorite songs off the album. It has no lyrics, and it's just some slide guitar, real soothing, kind of, puts you in a little bit of a different spot in your head.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like lyrics a ton,
Yeah.
but I can also appreciate that, because sometimes you just need that, man. Just light an incense because you're a hippie, throw on the headphones, and just go somewhere with the song. I love that a lot. So
Yeah, man, me too.
My vote is do what you want, make this sweet instrumental album, because my vote is the one that counts.
That's kind of what I started thinking to myself. I've had a lot of inner turmoil about trying to come up with something that's really going to be commercially successful, all my life.
Yeah.
And realized that, and people that are successful always say, just do what you love.
Yeah.
And I do what I love, but when it comes
You
to
said
creativity wise, I kind of shelved the creativity sometimes to try to write a song that might be commercially successful, and it just
Yeah.
it's not who you are. You might as well give it up.
I have no experience in the matter, but I was listening to a gentleman on a podcast who kind of you feel like their whole life, their whole motivation of music is to make that status, make that money, which is obviously a goal for everybody. Everybody's got to eat.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be mad if I was making tons of money playing my songs. But when it becomes, I think, just me overanalyzing, overthinking the stuff, I kind of wonder if you get to be yourself ever again. When you cross that line and you put everything to just commercialism.
Right.
Do you ever get to show your real feelings, or I don't know.
Well, the thing with Nashville, I lived there so many times and tried different avenues and trying different angles, and realized that that's really what that's all about in Nashville. People are writing the songs for the artists, and it's just real fake.
Yeah.
Especially the country music that's coming out now out of Nashville, not mentioning the alt country scene like you're talking about, Isabel and Sturgill Simpson. That's great stuff. But pop country right now is so bad and so terrible.
I've talked about it a few times. Because just perusing through the internet, is that the right word? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm real bad at words too, which is silly that I'm a lyricist. But I'll see something, and I talked about it with We Make Shapes, and Damien had been to Nashville and kind of talked about how that's just the scene. But there was a guy who was talking about their song, their new song, and they're like, yeah, when we found this song, we were in the studio, and our producer said this would be great for us. And I was like, that's such a weird thing, because I enjoy so much.
What's the point of being an artist?
Yeah, I enjoy so much putting words that mean something to me that might mean something to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty much in the Tulsa area known as a cover band. I mean, that's how I'm kind of make a living. I mean, yeah, we'll throw in most of the songs off the CD, but we'll do a 4-hour gig,
Yeah.
And we'll do an hour's worth of originals and then 3 hours worth of covers. And I guess that's how the people that are Nashville success stories, they're doing covers. I mean,
Yeah.
the guys that are on Nashville Top 40 radio, they're singing covers.
Yeah.
Of someone else wrote for them, or they not wrote for them, but songs they found, like you said, their producer, whatever. And it sort of takes the art out of it for sure. And it's been like that for years, though. I mean, gosh, Elvis did all covers pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to your originals and I like them. So
well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I don't consider you a cover man.
Well, that's a good way for me to stay here in Tulsa and make a living and raise a family, and I'm thankful for the gigs I've got.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I can still sell a CD or two at a gig.
Yeah, you seem like a happy person. That's the only thing I'd worry about is watching somebody become unhappy doing it. That would be my concern. Because I don't know, I found a new, motivation or inspiration for songs. I was watching. I've been spending a lot of time watching documentaries because I'm an old man now, and I stumbled upon it's a documentary called Alive Inside, and what it is, it's a guy who tries to help dementia patients in nursing homes, and there's a lot of things, and they're all taking ridiculous amounts of drugs, and there's kind of a lot of them are just closed off. If you've seen a person that way, it's really kind of sad how they go away.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean. But they're alive inside, which is where the documentary gets its name. And what he does is he just takes music to them that their family said they loved when they were younger.
I've seen snippets of that. I know they come alive.
It's just amazing. It's incredible, like tear-jerkingly incredible. Yeah. And so I'm thinking to myself, man, I want to write music that might mean something like that to somebody someday. And I don't know. That's just.
Yeah, I've seen little parts of that, and the same with me. Like if I hear a song from I heard in junior high, and I haven't heard it since then, it's like, oh wow, music will take you back.
Yeah, I want to start doing that on the podcast. I have to figure out a way. I want to surprise guests. I don't have to stalk them and find out their birthday and find a popular song from the, I don't know, maybe their 21st birthday era and play it for them and just talk about what it might bring up.
When Brandon Clark and I we do quite a few gigs together, and
I love that, man.
It's fun, and we'll just go back and forth on songs, and it's like he'll play a Pearl Jam song that I hadn't heard forever, or Blind Melon or something like that. It's like, I didn't know you knew that song, and then I'll do one. He goes, how do you know that? And it's like, I don't know, songs we just knew growing up,
Yeah,
it's fun, and yeah, that guy, we do quite a few shows together, and he'll just blow my mind with pulling out these rarities from the 90s that I hadn't heard in 20 years. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's amazing what it can do. I don't know. That's such a cool idea. Yeah. That documentary is awesome. I suggest it. And I don't know. I like the fact that we have the ability and the opportunity to write a song that might one day that could be so important to a person right now that maybe I don't know.
Well, people are talking about the music industry dying. And it's like, yeah, maybe the industry might, but music won't ever die.
It won't. Yeah.
Like as in, people are like, well, you don't really need a record deal now, or you don't need. Well, you need money for one thing to do something, but it's different than it was. But the music's still there, and that's what's important. Yes,
I agree. I'm torn on it. I just know so little about what actually happens after you sign a record deal, and so all I know is from documentaries and podcasts.
Well, our album Mid America, we signed with a label for distribution. They're called Smith Music, and they're out of Fort Worth. They did. They have a series live at Billy Bob's. They're more of a Texas country label, I guess, but we signed on with them, and it really didn't do a whole lot for me because I don't really play in Texas. But it did help with some distribution, and like the day it was released, they emailed me and said, hey, your album is on the front page of iTunes the day it was released, right next to, I don't know, George Strait, Taylor Swift, whatever. I keep mentioning Taylor Swift. I'm not that obsessed with her. But,
I am. She's beautiful.
Well, but then there was mine right next to it. Travis Kidd was there, and then there was, somebody else. Somebody was like, well, that was cool. So, yeah, it sold pretty good the first little bit, but distribution, I think you can find it in other avenues without having to sign on with somebody now.
Yeah, we got an internet.
Yeah, we're connected to it. Interweb, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm amazed by what the internet can do. I've learned, I feel like an old man saying I remember a time before it was a big deal, before internet was super, entwined into our realities. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I've learned so much, and just, I don't know, people became more, I don't know, people connected. I can learn about somebody that's across the world that I never would have even came across without it. So changing music in a way I approve.
I miss the days of picking up a CD and actually holding it and looking at it. I mean, I can't tell you the last CD I bought, but that's one part of it I do miss. I think fan base is changing somehow, because used to go to whatever, Hastings, Best Buy, Walmart,
Yep.
get a CD, you're pumped. It's like, wow, the CD came out. I've been waiting and waiting for this to come out. Instead, now you're just like, oh, there's something new on the internet. Boom, got it.
Yeah, I can see that that excitement. I mean, I recently, a couple times, I've had an album that I pre-ordered, and I've just been super excited, and I realized I missed that feeling. I just hadn't been so excited about music for a long time, and it's a glorious, feeling.
Well, I did pre-order Maggie McDonald's new CD.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I noticed it loaded itself onto my phone, and I'm going to listen to it on the way home. I feel terrible. I haven't listened to my sister's full-length album yet. Well, it's an EP, but
I don't want to talk about how excited I was because she's my friend. No, I was like,
I was pumped about it too. I'm very glad
she's been working on that for a while.
Yeah.
And I've been telling her, like, where's this at? Like, probably a year. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Hey, Maggie, where's your album? So when I saw it on the internet, she's like, it's coming out November 18th. You can pre-order it now. I was immediately dropped what I was doing. Went and because it's so cool that we also got a song immediately. I mean, so that's glorious.
It's really cool.
It sucks that it's going to take her 3 months to make any money to get paid for
Yeah,
anything.
hey, that nice chunk will come in though. That's good.
She'll be on the podcast.
Good.
Soon.
That's great.
I was trying to schedule her the week of her release party, and then I realized that's a lot to handle, the week of your release party. So I can't wait to talk about how because she worked with a bunch of, my friends, your friends, I'm sure, and I don't know, I'm just excited to hear about it. And it's cool because I've only seen her play acoustic. And
that's the first time I saw her with the band at her CD release party.
And you can just, I don't know, it's so cool to just all of a sudden hear her vision, what she was hearing in her head that she wanted. And just, boom, there it is. It's pretty awesome.
It is good. Rockwell did a good job on that.
Yeah. And
I haven't heard the whole thing yet, which is my bad.
Actually, by the time this comes out, you'll have heard the whole thing. And
okay.
And don't you think it's wonderful?
Yes.
Great job, Maggie.
We'll edit all that together.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say something. Dang it. Well,
another song. Do we have time for one more?
We have so much time, man. I got all the time. What do you want to...
I'm trying to remember everything that I sent. We can do... this is off the CD, Maxine's Tap Room Boogie. And I'm going to preface this with, somehow in Europe, a line dance instructor downloaded this song, and I think he was from maybe Holland. Downloaded the song. He must be a really popular dance instructor over there, because it's all over YouTube. I'm talking almost 100,000 hits of how to do the line dance he created to this song.
That's incredible.
And I didn't really even know about it until I was doing a, what do you call it when you search yourself? A vanity search. I went to YouTube.
Every day.
I went to find a copy of the song that we did in Fayetteville. Someone videoed us playing the song in Fayetteville. And I found that, and then I found probably 20 other hits of video instruction on how to do this, all the way from people in Taiwan. There were people in Germany,
just worldwide,
Holland, people in Dutch. I mean, it was in Europe only, not worldwide. Nobody over here hardly even knows the song.
Well,
but over there, it was charting as a dance hit, and I looked at a line dance. They have a line dance chart in Europe, and it was charting at like number 21.
That's incredible.
I had no idea, and I haven't. I actually got in touch with the dance instructor and said, "What is this all about?" Thank you, and he goes, "Well, I'll tell you this," and this is me thinking how he sounds. He says, "Well, I didn't really like the rest of your CD, but Maxine's Taproom Boogie had a beat that we couldn't resist." And I said, "Well, how'd you find it?" He goes, "He just typed in boogie on iTunes Europe, and that popped up." And so if you search YouTube for Maxine's Taproom Boogie, you're likely to find some instructions on how to do the line dance, sir.
I have a phone here. I have the song here.
Yep.
I have you here. Let's make a video of you instructing how to do...
I haven't even learned it yet. I haven't learned that or the fine dango. I don't even know how to do that yet.
Man, well, here's Maxine's Taproom Boogie.
All right.
By Travis Kidd.
May I have your attention, please? You have 10 minutes to drink up and then get the hell out of here.
queen. Come on over, baby. Let's go see Maxine and do that tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Oh, tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. We'll do the tap room boogie, boogie, woogie all night long. Well, for 50 years it's been the place to go. You might see me, well, you might see old Joe. Closing time's coming, Maxine gets so loud. You got 10 minutes to drink it up and get the hell out. Do the tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Oh, tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. We'll do the tap room boogie, boogie, woogie all night long. Blow your top, yeah, yeah. Well, for 50 years it's been the place to go. You might see Jed, well, you might see old Joe. Closing time coming, Maxine gets so loud. You got 10 minutes to drink it up and get the hell out. Do that tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Oh, tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. We'll do the tap room boogie, boogie, woogie all night long. Oh, yeah. We'll do the tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Oh, tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Yeah, tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. We'll do the tap room boogie. Tap room boogie. Do the tap room boogie, boogie, woogie all night long. Yeah, we'll do the tap room boogie, boogie, woogie all night long.
Excellent.
The
So the
intro, the intro of that song was the lady saying, "You've got 10 minutes to drink up and get the hell out."
Yeah.
That was actually the lady Maxine that owned Maxine's Tap Room. She died in '06, I think. But we used to play there when I lived in Fayetteville back in the late '90s, early 2000s. Played there every Tuesday. Big college scene over there, and all the frat and sorority people would pile in there every Tuesday night, drink cheap beer.
For sure.
And we played there every Tuesday. But she said that at the end of the night, every night, you got 10 minutes to drink up and get the hell out of here. And I put the mic up and recorded her saying it, one time. And I
Yeah.
had that saved as a file for years. And just thought we'd stick that on the front of that song.
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really cool. I wanted to do that to an ex once. Like the song was about her, and I had a voicemail of her saying something, and I was like, "Oh, this would be great to do."
Yeah.
But I luckily didn't, because now it's not important. It's so long ago. Like now, if that song was still on the people are still listening to it, I'd be like, why did I
Yeah.
connect the two? I used to spend a lot of time in Fayetteville.
Oh, I love Fayetteville.
As much as I could, not a lot of time. On weekends, I would head up there. Anytime that The Wedding was playing was a band I used to love.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a cool scene up there.
It was really cool. Very cool.
I don't know. I haven't been in a real long time.
It's not quite what it was, but we don't hardly play there anymore. But there was a time that it was a place to
I
be.
think the music hall is where.
Clunk Music Hall. Yeah, I saw Modest Mouse. I worked at Modest Mouse show there.
Yeah.
Sound. I was an assistant sound tech on once they came through, and then oh gosh,
I keep wanting to call it the music store, but it's definitely the music hall.
it was. I think you're talking about Clunk Music Hall. It was a sub version of a Clunk Records. That was an indie record store over there. He had a place. Yeah, they had a lot.
Was
of
it
cool
behind
stuff.
this weird
Yeah.
restaurant thing that smelled weird?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if that's the same place, they moved it a time or two. It was right off Dixon Street for a while, but I'm
Yep,
not sure. Yeah,
that's
okay,
where-
that's it.
It's the only thing I remember. Had a lot of fun up there. So that's cool. Oh, man, that's a cool story with Maxine.
Sometimes we'll get some University of Arkansas alumni that will download that song. It's like, man, that's so cool that you got Maxine's voice on there and all that. It's like, yeah, it's cool.
That is cool, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
And we'll have the video up of you teaching the tap room boogie.
Hey, check it out and learn it. It's funny. It became a little bit of a joke in my circle of friends, but
Of course.
I was like, hey, people are hearing this song all over the
Yeah.
world. I mean, it's great. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything.
That's a gift of the internet, I think. Which I guess a record label would have done the same thing. It would have been able to connect with somebody all over the world. But now we have that chance. Man, that's such a cool story about it taking up, because it's a cool song, and we're seeing the listeners are seeing what I saw with how different your songs can be.
Yeah.
And you also call yourself a guitar player mostly.
Yeah.
What you're saying, but your voice is incredible too.
Well, thanks.
My phone's going off. Dadgummit. Paul Benjamin is announcing shows, so that's everybody's little from bands in town. But your voice is really, really good too.
Well, thanks. Tupelo Honey was one of the songs you mentioned. That's a Van Morrison cover, and it's on the CD. We actually put 2 covers on this CD, it's our newest CD, but man, I'm embarrassed to say it's almost 8 years old now. So did Tupelo Honey. People started hearing me do that live and thought I should record it. It's kind of a little bit of a ballad, I guess.
Yeah, and your voice is absolutely stunning on that song.
Thank you.
I did not know it was a cover, and I listened to it about 200 times today.
I wish I would have written that one.
So on Spotify, you're gonna get a little bump.
All right.
At least 4 cents.
Half a cent. Yeah. I've done that one at quite a few weddings, believe it or not. People's like, you got to play that song at our weddings. Like, you got it.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever you need.
Yeah. And the other cover we put on there was called Lawyers, Guns, and Money, which is, we kind of heavied it up a little bit. It's Warren Zevon tune. He wrote that, and it was on his Excitable Boy album. And I have heard that song most of my life, and I've always really loved it. And we started doing it live, and I thought it'd be another cool one to do a cover. And, we went into paying royalties and everything before we recorded. I set up the 9 cents per copy that you pay to Van Morrison's publishing company or Warren Zevon's publishing, and made a legit stab at doing a cover. And so, yeah, it's cool.
That is cool. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, you're really supposed to have clearance on it. And so sent a certified letter to the publishing company of the people that hold the rights to the song. And they send you a certified letter back and say, all right, here's the certain amount. I said, I'm going to press 1,000 copies. And so you paid 9 cents per 1,000 copies. So it was $90. Yeah.
That's not bad. I'm as soon as I have the dollars, it's like ASCAP offers a blanket thing for podcasting for online media. It's like $250 a year, and you get all of their songs and just access to all of them.
Really?
And I'm like,
that's great.
That's incredible.
Well, I'm a member of ASCAP, so
yeah. So now you would get paid for letting me play your songs.
Yeah.
Another 6 cents. There you go, bud.
But ASCAP's been good. Yeah, they've actually rewarded me a time or two with a check here and there for different things. So yeah, it's cool.
That's never sad when you get a check.
Not big checks, but it's nice to be acknowledged with some cashola sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to make sure I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Get it off the chest. I've had a good week musically. I went to see my friend's daughter performing at the Tulsa Youth Symphony concert, and that's just incredible to me, watching all these teenagers be way better at something than I'll ever be. It's just incredible to watch, and I don't know, I just like seeing that, like, students, the young are getting some music in them, but also playing. I was actually I kind of found myself in a sad spot of playing a gig that I just really wasn't looking forward to, and I try to make that not happen.
Right.
So, I mean, if I'm not looking forward to playing music, I'm trying not to. But I ended up at that marathon, and it was just I wasn't looking forward to it because the time I played it before, it was 20 degrees. So
and
I was
early too.
Yeah, and early. Well, it was early, but man, I got there and I was like, had some coffee before, and just the day was beautiful, and I played with some friends. Jay Coop was there, and he had Josh Cottle with him playing piano, and they're both just really good musicians. It was cool. It was just a fun day, and I'm on a playing music high. I had such a good time playing this leaves blowing over me, and just magical evening in front of this beautiful church, and like their sign. I don't know. That's good.
It's fun.
Do you have a situation that comes to mind when you think of just a time where you're like, man, this is friggin' magic right here?
I tell you what, I think I like to do festival gigs sometimes, because get in front of some people that normally don't hear us.
Yeah.
We used to do more than we do now. It's pretty rare. I mean, we've done a few festivals this year, but they're kind of hard to do because they're usually kind of a mess when it comes to organization,
Yeah.
But when it's said and done, it was cool to get to do that and maybe have people come up to you and say that, we never even heard of you. Where are you? It's like, well, I've been around here for a while, but that kind of thing. But no, yeah.
I think I kind of made it sound like it doesn't happen often, the magical feeling. It happens, I mean, almost every time, I guess. But there's just sometimes a gig I'm just like, man, I feel like I don't want to be doing this, and that makes it seem more of a I don't know, like a job.
Does suck. Yeah.
It just that moment, I'm like, this is not what my art was meant for when I was 18, saying all those words about being a rebel and piercing my lips and gauging my ears.
Yeah, I've been doing it as a job. I mean, this is my occupation, and I think I'm past the part of where I don't really. There's nothing I dread when it comes to music, and even if it's sort of lame at the there ain't nobody here. This is gonna suck.
Yeah.
But me and my band will start. I hate to say my band. I don't like that term. Me and the guys I play with will start playing. I hate it when people say, "Yeah, he's in my band. He's my bass player."
It kind of sounds like ownership.
Yeah, hey
I'm like,
boy, play your bass. But the guys I play with, we usually start kicking off the first song, and man, by the end of the song, it's like, yeah, we're jamming,
Yeah.
So it makes it all better when we get going.
It's always more fun with a band.
Yeah.
And plus I've been hiring dudes that were just so much better than me musically, and it's just a blast every time that we play. I don't have a band gig coming up, but every time we play music together, it's just like, man, I freaking appreciate these dudes. I even got all sappy. I was like, thank you guys so much for playing my songs with me.
Yeah. Well, I'll be, I'll catch myself watching Mark Meeker play drums. He's back there just hitting it. And then Josh Richards, great bass player. I'll be like, man, that's great. We're just rocking out. And
Do I even have to play? Can you guys just jam? I'll
watch.
watch.
Just jamming, and I'm watching, and it's fun. Yeah, it gets fun. And, I enjoy doing those gigs where we'll do, some originals, some covers. And, gosh, these casino gigs that we do are, 75% covers, but we make them our own. We don't track anything, or I've seen bands recently that it's like, are you guys playing to karaoke tracks?
Yeah,
with guitars and drums.
I've seen that,
fake bass playing and fake vocals, and what is going on there? Can you guys not play your own shit?
I don't know if everybody notices it, but I think as a musician, you notice it immediately. Like, whoa, that's so,
like lip syncing almost. Yeah. But everybody has an instrument in their hand. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's a karaoke contest.
And then there's 500 people out there loving what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is sort of strange.
Yeah.
I haven't really played a bar gig in a while. We do a lot of casino stuff, or special, private events, or corporate things, or festivals, or like this one we got coming up with Thompson Square. It's it's full on concert. So
I'm excited for that. I'll be there. It's Tuesday. I think it's just Tuesday, so I'm really glad you're starting early.
Mm-hmm. Come early, yeah, sure.
So I'll get to bed and get to work because, I'm an old man. I'll go watch you play, watch Thompson Square. Man, it's such a cheesy thing to think about, but there's a few people that you see and you can kind of tell they're in love and they're singing songs about it. I hope they write their own songs. I haven't researched it.
I don't know. I bet they do.
If they don't, they make them their own or whatever, because you just believe it. I think Desi and Cody here in Tulsa.
Oh yeah,
do that
they're
too.
great. They're great.
It's just like, oh, you guys win at love. You guys win at playing music. You win at love.
Yeah.
So
I've known Cody a long time. He's a great dude.
Yeah, me too. I still fanboy over everybody, or I like their songs. I don't know. I gotta explain myself a little bit. If I like music, dude, I like it a lot. Well, so I've loved Cody's projects a long, long time. And one of my first favorite gigs a long time ago is when him and the Bishops released an album, and they had me and my band at the time called the Bro Hiram on there, and I was just all like super, oh my gosh, I'm playing with the Cody Clinton. The Cody Clinton.
Yeah, that's great.
So they're leaving. I think they just left this week or recently to go on a huge tour across the ocean. Just I don't know who they're with. Yeah.
Well, good.
And they were telling me about some of the places they were going, and I'm so excited for them.
Cody and Des.
Yeah, Des and Cody are. So, Des and Cody, for listening, good luck. And if you're listening, good luck. I guess that's all I have to say. Let's talk about another song, man.
Okay,
I really appreciate you bringing all these songs that haven't been heard, I guess.
Yeah, we can go with, we're talking about some more shredding guitar work. This is my favorite song off of my CD, and the song's called Anticipation. And I do the first guitar lead. It's actually lyrically pretty good. I wrote the lyrics quite a while before I recorded this song. And called in my friend Soupbone again to come play on it. So we had Joey Trevino on the bass on this album, Matt Emmons on the drums. I played most of the guitars and vocals and backup vocals, and then Soupbone played on a few tracks. And this is one of the tracks, and he really rips it up at the end of it. It's an amazing guitar song.
I'm excited. It's called Anticipation?
Anticipation, yeah.
Well, Here it is. Dude, that song rocks.
Thank you. That's my favorite off the CD for sure. Yeah.
That song rocks a bunch. Man, it's such a cool thing to see we had the instrumental one, the moving, very pretty, and then you get to this rocking one, and then I know you have them. I really appreciate your variety. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, that's kind of the thing with not being able to classify what I do, because it's not really country and it's not really hard rock or pop. It's just, it's just its own thing, I guess. I don't know what you'd call that song. It's just
party. I'll call it party.
Okay. It's kind of got some jam elements to it, maybe. Yeah.
And Soupbone kills.
Oh yeah,
man, that dude. He's always doing something great.
Yeah.
I've only met him a few times and talked to him, but every time I see him playing with whoever, he's doing incredible. Mm-hmm. I need to have him come talk to me about come teach me how to play the dang guitar.
He does. I think he does lessons. Yeah.
So, man, I'm just still all amped from how much that song rocked my face.
Oh, good, man. I'm glad
That's
you liked
cool.
it. Cool.
How did that come about?
Well, let's see here. I think I came up with that one originally just as an acoustic thing. That's more or less how most of them began. And I think just jamming it around with the band I had at the time, which was Joey Trevino and Matt Emmons, and we kind of just turned it into that. And then when we recorded it, I added a few more spots in it for some guitar leads so we can just really just knock it out. And it turned into, I think, pretty much one of the best songs I've ever recorded. I mean, it's really, really good. Yeah.
It's a bold thing to say.
Yeah, well, thanks.
I mean,
well, I like having other players on there and being able to listen to it and going, wow, that's amazing playing. Yeah. And I've been a fan of Soup Bone since I met him. He's great.
Yeah. Do you have a song that you wish you hadn't released? I hear on I think it's maybe Kill Tony or one of the Ice House Chronicles, a different podcast. They ask comedians if there was a thing they did when they started that they wish they hadn't done. Is there a song you think, like, man, maybe I shouldn't?
No, I don't think so. I just wish that I could maybe come up with some more stuff. I'm kind of at a stalemate when it comes to, like I said, writing lyrics. I mean, I don't know. I've got to a point where we play so much, and you said when things become a job, different things take different. What am I trying to say? Priorities, right? And I need to maybe concentrate a little bit more on just having some time. I mean, gosh, having kids and trying to be a dad too, it takes away the creativity just a smidge. and it's no excuse. I mean, gosh, I still get every chance I get go in my studio and try to put together some new stuff, and more or less it's coming out as the instrumental stuff that we heard earlier in the program. So, and that's kind of what I'm more into now anyway. So yeah.
Well, do what you're into.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. Because because I can explain to you how you're going to make yourself happy. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I have no idea how anybody's life works.
Yeah.
But I suggest, when you have time to write, I suggest make sure you're caught up on all the podcast episodes first.
Okay. Well, that does give me a little bit of inspiration, I'll have to say. And there's a few other podcasts I listen to, one being the CD Baby DIY podcast.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
And it's a lot of cool information and kind of gives you a little bit of a bump of creativity sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, man, there's so much information. I try to tell people, I obviously want everybody into podcasts because I want everybody listening to mine. Mm-hmm. But if they don't want to, I still tell them, you will find something that you enjoy that somebody's doing a great podcast on, especially in the next coming years. I hope it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. I remember seeing podcasts 5 or 6 years ago, and I didn't even know what that was. Right. So, and then I don't remember how I got. As soon as I found a podcast, I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" It just exploded. Now I'm trying to fit time to edit mine because I'm listening to other people's podcasts. So it's just a really cool thing.
I usually have one day a week. I'll go out to the garage and turn on 3 or 4 podcasts, and yours being one, and go through it and
It's so cool to me that you're a listener and like enjoy it. That makes it even cooler for you to be here. I think instead of somebody coming up and being like, "What is a podcast?" and why am I not on yours yet? I'm like, "Oh, yeah, what?"
Yeah.
Come on, you're putting me in an awkward situation, like, because you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
That's bad. Well, there are some sucky players too. Yeah.
I'm just trying to be funny, but I do, and I'm glad you're a listener, man. That's cool. Isn't it cool to see it just? I know we've been hanging out over an hour now.
Yeah, it's kind of just blur. It's just like a blur. It's all just kind of, it's easy. It's cool. It's the first podcast I've ever done. So
I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad we ran into each other. Yeah. This is Maggie's fault. Maggie,
I know,
did the CD. Time worked out. Took her a year and a half, but it was because we were supposed to hang out that day. That's what happened. That's how the universe works. I just explained it. Boom. Mind's blown.
And, we've done a few early morning, like the morning shows, for instance, at KMOD, and they're a lot of fun, too, back when the Phil and Brent era was happening. And but, man, they were early. You'd be there at 7:30 morning, and it's not, your brain isn't quite functioning at that point. Mine isn't, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a late nighter, I mean, I can't go to really sleep until 2 or 3, sometimes 4.
I've been getting up early for 600 years now. I'm still never okay with it. Never.
Mornings are real bad.
But I guess I have an advantage on getting in podcast listening because I have 40 hours at least a week with my headphones. So that's a lot of
cool.
That's a lot of information. And I learn a ton of stuff, but I realized I retain nothing, like at all, whatsoever.
It literally goes in one ear and out the other.
I just learned something crazy about the brain. It's probably about memory because what was it? But it's still, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's another getting old thing. But I'm really enjoying just learning information all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm 40, so I know that getting old thing sucks.
I'm happy with it. What do you think about this sweet beard I've got here?
It's no shit. Is it still no shit?
Yeah,
no
that's what
shave?
I finally, man. At 27, I was like, you know what? I'm just going for it. I don't. I mean, who do I have to impress? I haven't. And it's funny because it's terrible. It's really bad. Listeners, you can't see it, but it's really, really bad.
Well, I just took a picture, so I'll be going to post that.
But I think it's funny to go in public and people are just trying to be nice. And they don't know that I know it's terrible, and I think it's hilarious. Like, oh man, sweet beard, dude, it's really coming in. And I'm just, you're sweet, but it's not true. Like a bartender was like, look at that sweet beard, and
the beards, I tell you.
I think it's funny. And maybe it's rude to put people in that situation where they have because they look up and see me and like, whoa.
Do you think beards will ever go out again, where it's like not cool to have a beard, or is it here to stay?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't comment because I've never experienced the real beardedness.
Yeah, I have a partial shadow because I'm just too lazy to shave.
I'm a lazy person as well. But maybe one day I'll be bearded, and then I'll be able to write really cool beard songs
And hang
'Cause
out
I
at
feel
all
like
the cool places.
that's a different vibe. You have the confidence of your beard, and you can write with that confidence. Have you ever? I've been, I don't know, thinking about, I guess a lot. That stupid documentary that made me realize that people might listen to this song in the nursing home and it bring them back to life, or it could just be terrible. Or I don't want to write something. Do you ever find yourself concerned about how serious you're taking yourself writing a song?
Well, yeah, that's when it gets too hard, And the best songs that I think I've come up with are the ones that I've written really fast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I'd never take myself seriously. So like when I'm writing a song, I don't expect people to realize that I think my beard is hilarious, and you don't have to compliment it. People aren't going to know that I'm not really trying to push any opinions on somebody. I just think this is beautiful. This is a beautiful part of life, or this is a hurtful part of life. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of it. That's too serious of music. I like music for the enjoyment of it. I don't really like to think a whole lot about what I'm listening to, and that's maybe a drawback for a songwriter because, I think some people take themselves so seriously that it's like the bleeding heart kind of artists are just that just didn't turn me on.
That concerns me because I don't want to be portrayed. I don't want to ever end up looking that way. Not that I would ever. I'm not going to end up caring about anything that much. So
yeah, and the hipster scene, you see people that are just trying too hard to be hip.
Yeah,
and it's like that is not cool.
They have beards though, so they got one on me.
That's true. The beards.
I'm gonna glue on some beard hair, and I'm gonna be awesome. That's what's gonna happen. We got a couple more songs here.
Okay. Okay.
Let's close the show out later with the original
Toe Man.
All
right.
So you can go back to.
Well, we'll go back to the.
We have another brand new unheard song, right?
Yes, this is brand new. It's not completely mixed all the way. This is just a garage band version of a newer one, and this is going back to the country roots again. So I'm sort of all over the place still.
Man, I get that. I hadn't listened to country in a long time, but there's been a certain amazing person in my life that just came out with a new album. I try not to talk about him every episode, but man, it was. I've realized that when a situation comes up, because I always. Probably annoying to some people. Any sentence I hear something, it automatically comes up with the song, and I'm singing it before I even have the chance to tell my brain not to start singing. I'm singing that song, and almost all the time it's old country songs.
Oh yeah,
and they just I don't know. I think I've fallen in love with country songs again, older country songs.
Yeah, well, this has definitely got a tinge of some classic country to it. It's really simple 3-chord deal. I mean, I put on a drum loop, just a simple brushes, kind of a and. Had the lyrics, wrote this song quick, 20 minutes, and then I recorded it as soon as I could. So I've been kind of working on the mix for the last few weeks. But yeah, give it a shot there.
Yeah, man. Here it is. It's called "Staying Right Here."
Staying right here. I'm staying right. Yeah, staying right here. Yeah.
Is it staying?
Staying. I'm staying here.
Staying right here, Travis.
Yeah.
all clear down here, holding you tonight. We made it one more year. You know our love won't grow through these stormy tears. There's not a cloud in sight. My love is staying right here. I drank a little bit of whiskey, 4 glasses of wine. You finished off that bottle, baby, and drank the rest of mine. And then we talked for hours about our ups and downs. We always have the best party, baby, when nobody's around. I gave her one last try, way down in Texas, and I learned to cry down in Tennessee. So I came back home, here to Oklahoma. There's not a cloud in sight. Guess I did alright. My love's staying right here. I gave it one last try, way down in Texas, and I learned to cry down in Tennessee. So I came back home, here to Oklahoma. There's not a cloud in sight. I guess I did it upright. My love's staying right here. There's not a cloud in sight. I guess I did something right. My love's staying right here. Yeah.
Staying right here. Is that about Oklahoma? Is that a
Right
love song
about
to
being
Oklahoma?
married with children and staying right here. You know, I've tried it all over the place, man. I've been played pretty much coast to coast, you know, and moving back here and kind of settling down and realizing that this is where I need to be, and it's great. I'm able to make a living playing music here. I've got kids and a wife and house and all that jazz, and it's not bad at all.
I feel like our tone of talking changed when we listened to that country song.
Yeah, we're going back to Oklahoma.
It brought us back.
Yeah,
I
well,
like it. It's cool. It's a cool little vibe. You recorded at your house. I love that.
Yeah.
It's people fight for those of other artists. You know,
And I used
it's the basement tapes.
It is. It's like well, I used a podcast microphone about the Blue Yeti. You know, hey, maybe we can get a endorsement from Blue.
Probably not, but we'll try.
But I used that and plugged it right into the Mac and recorded it and put some loops, garage banded it together, and there it is. So.
Have you experienced how much easier it's gotten maybe the past 10 years to do your own thing? You know what? I feel it's so, I mean, if I learned how to use microphones correctly, I'd probably have, with just this setup, the ability to do a crazy, pretty decent recording album. But I'm still learning how to use words, so it's not going to be learning microphones well. Thanks for bringing that, man.
Yeah,
I
man,
like
cool.
that song.
I don't know how I'm going to squeeze that into the electronica trance album, but
Just drop it on a fat beat.
Yeah, really. I may have to do a like I said, an alter ego, you know, and do one kind of instrumental album, and then do the other kind of more of a Americana album, because, you know, I think I'm maybe still classified as Americana. I mean, because that's such a large genre, and it works with almost any kind of rootsy style of music, you know. So I don't know.
Eclectic.
Yeah,
That's the word that
it's
was on your bio we were looking for earlier.
Well, all right,
That's
eclectic.
it.
Well.
I'm really glad I said that correctly. Staying right. I like, man, cool, dude. I'm so glad you came to hang out and just brought all these cool songs. This is fun.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, that definitely has kind of a Tulsa vibe. It's not. It came out to being there's a little bit of J.J. Cale kind of vibe going on there. Maybe I don't know.
Can you shoot some info on J.J. Cale? I had, hopefully they're listeners now, but I had the band's named Carol Cousin. They're named Dom and Cab. They're from France, and they came to Tulsa because they I guess their scene, they love J.J. Cale, they loved Canes, they just wanted to experience it. But I don't know anything about. I mean, I know a little bit about the guy, but
I don't know a whole lot either. I actually opened for J.J. Cale in Fayetteville back in early 2000s maybe, and I'd always known who he was, and that was before I moved back to Tulsa, so I wasn't as blown away at the time that now in hindsight I wish I would have maybe paid more attention to the show rather than sit around, drink beer, and do shots.
Story of my life, man.
Yeah, but I watched him and I thought it was killer. But I knew how influential he was on American music, not necessarily the Tulsa sound, which I don't know anything. It's such a people pigeonhole and try to culminate the Tulsa sound into one thing, and there's much more to it than
Yeah, there's a lot of Tulsa sound,
and there's a sound in every town, and so but JJ, I'm not as fluent on JJ Cale as I wish I was, but I wish I would have paid more attention to that concert that I opened for. But I think his influence has rubbed off on a lot of people that are from around this area.
Where was it that you guys
It was
played a
at
show together?
Dave's on Dixon, right there. It was one of their concert halls on Dixon Street, Dave's on Dixon. It was there for maybe 4, 5, 6 years. And I think the building's torn down now, and there's condos there. So that's kind of what's happening in Fayetteville.
That's a badass memory, though.
Yeah, it was cool. And, he had his cool slide thing on, and I guess it was his wife in the band, maybe. Yeah, I think so. And, it was cool. I said hello to him. He didn't say much to me. So.
Well, happens.
Yeah.
You talked about Brandon Clark earlier, and I liked the dude before this.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was a good dude, and I'd seen him play a bunch. But I opened for him, opening for Love and Theft. It was a country band.
Oh, wow.
And I was nervous. Cody Clinton was we talked about him. Cody Clinton was playing guitar with me.
Cool.
And I broke a guitar string, and I had like a 20-minute set, and I was like, oh man, my set's pretty much done. Like I finished the song with a broken string, and
I hate that.
and then I was like, I was about to just like, well, thank you guys so much, we're done, because I don't have time to change my string, come back and play. And then I look over to my right, and freaking Brandon Clark's there with his guitar, and like, here you go, use this one, man. And I don't know, that's such a friendship thing. He didn't know me well. That's such a cool thing you can find, I think, in music.
We've been buddies since we met, and I've known him for almost 15 years. And he's one of those guys, kind of like me. We don't really fit in. Tulsa's got a few cliques of musicians around Tulsa area, and it's not that cool to me to see that happening with certain players and groups of dudes that are in the Tulsa area that have a clique.
Yeah.
But Brandon and I have always kind of stepped above that and done our own thing, and we just do what we do, and we play a lot of shows together, and we're great friends. And he is a good guy. He would give you a guitar to play.
Yeah.
That's what he would do. Yeah.
That's such a watch. Like somebody's gonna go see him, and he's gonna be just on an off night and be angry about something and be like, Jason lied, he's a dick. But no, I don't think that would happen. But yeah. That's pretty funny. How about around the country? Have you seen, are people in Nashville as helpful as I see people here in Tulsa? Like a lot. I mean, I guess they talked about, back to Dom and Cab, they talked about everything being super competitive where they're from, playing music, and I don't see that here. I mean, you see it maybe a little bit in certain areas, but I think everybody's always trying to trying to help each other out.
I don't know. Nashville it's cool. I still love to go back there, and I'll play like open mic nights or songwriter nights, and run into some old friends. Last time I was there, I was playing a songwriter night at a place called Tin Roof, and it's right there on Demembrin, and I look up and see some Tulsa guys come in to see me play, and it was Brian Hughes and David Cook, that guy from old David Cook.
Yeah. And I think I was just too young to know him. Well, I think he was playing the bar scene when I was like 19.
Oh yeah.
So as soon as I started getting drunk in the bar scene, he was already out of town. But a lot of my friends,
American Idol, yeah. And then Monty and Nick Gibson and David. Some of his band came in. They had a show in Nashville that day, and they came in and watched me. And I was like, oh, cool, man! I got some Tulsa peeps here hanging out, and we had a great time. And so it's fun to run into people from Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Nashville have a really big connection somehow, because there's a lot of talent Oklahoma's hot for talent still. I mean, they're here, and there's no denying that Oklahoma is definitely a hotbed of unbelievable talent.
Are you telling me I should go somewhere where there's less talent and have more of a chance? I'm just kidding.
Well, I think you'll have more of a chance being from Oklahoma if you say, hey, I'm from Oklahoma, and there'll probably be somebody for instance, in Nashville that will know somebody that you know. It's
Yeah.
weird like that. It's like pretty strange. So.
Do you find the same kind of, I don't know, I want to call it a brotherhood, just a, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? A community. That's the word. I'm looking for a community. Same kind of musicians community.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere I've lived, there's been, Fayetteville was really great like that back in the 90s, and you know, I've done some stuff in L.A. and New York, and you know, everywhere I have gone, it's been musicians in general. I think are pretty brotherly or sisterly, you know, and that's really cool. You know, so far I haven't run into too much. Here in Tulsa, seems like there's, like I said a while ago, they're becoming more and more of a clique thing happening. That's not great, and I don't like seeing that. But I'm not into it, so it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
It has, but I'm over that. So yeah, it's like whatever. I'm still gonna do my own thing.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see you doing that, man.
Cool.
And especially playing the kind of music you want to play.
Yeah,
making the kind of music you want to make. Mm-hmm. You think playing some cover gigs and learning how other people play all different styles of music has helped you make your own variation on your style? Maybe,
because back when I first started learning to play guitar was back in the 80s, and I was all into Van Halen and Rat and Motley Crue and Ozzy and
the best country artist.
That was my favorite thing. I hated country back then. and I hate today's country also. But I like roots music, and I like Americana kind of. I like guitar-oriented music. You know, I think that goes back to me not being the best lyricist that I want to be, because I like to have something jam first before I'll take a listen to the lyrics, and that's just the way I am.
Yeah.
If the song jams, I'm going to pay attention to it. But if it's bleeding heart, sappy, I may not give it the time of day.
So you've never heard my music? That's I'm just kidding.
I just don't. I just, you know, I don't really get out in Tulsa that much anymore, man. So.
No, I was just.
Well, I guess I'll have to listen to your stuff.
You're gonna be like, oh no, this is fine. I don't think it's too. I don't know.
Well, it's not a personal thing. I mean, there's plenty of people that, you know.
I'm just making fun of myself, okay. Man. That's all I'm doing. No worries.
I guess I should say the first thing that attracts me to liking some music is if it has, you know, the music part of it there first. That's just me being not the lyricist that I should be, so, that I want to be.
Yeah, that's cool though.
But it's just naturally that way. It's like I like guitars and I like drums and bass and I like things to rock.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What happened? Where'd you start incorporating other styles into what you wanted to play and write?
Probably in the mid '90s, I kind of got turned on to more of a folkier thing for a little while. Started listening to this female artist named Shawn Colvin. She's one of my favorites still to this day. There was, you know, I kind of started getting into more acoustic stuff then, like James Taylor, Jackson Browne. I don't know what was big back then. I mean, I still liked a lot of the Allman Brothers stuff that was acoustic-y kind of sounding, and still cover quite a few Allman Brothers tunes in our set. And then I kind of got out of that and kind of got back into more of the stuff with harder guitars, like Toe Man. The original version of Toe Man is the rap version that we heard earlier, but the album version is the one that we play live, and it's the one that we can play next. And it's rock. It's flat out just rock and roll. And, you know, I kind of got back into playing electric. I don't do as many acoustic gigs as I used to, because I play my electric a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still do a lot of solo gigs acoustically, but I use a loop pedal. And
can you start calling it acoustical? I want to use that word from now on. Sorry to interrupt you. Totally interrupted the train of thought, and want to change acoustically to acoustical.
Acoustical?
Yes, that's what I just want to use that word.
Well, acoustical tile ceilings, acoustical ceiling.
I hope you can continue your train of thought.
But yeah, when I do the acoustic gigs, I use a loop pedal, and, you know, I use an overdrive pedal, and I use a wah pedal and some delay. You know, kind of flip it around to make it sound more like not an acoustic gig.
Yeah.
And I don't loop background stuff. I just loop as I play, you know, kind of like, for instance, Keller Williams. I ran into him in Telluride when I lived there, and I became a fan of Keller Williams back then when he first started.
That's
and,
cool.
He's big into looping, and he's a pretty amazing artist if you ever got a chance to
The only
check him
time
out.
I've seen him, I don't think he did any looping. He just had a big, huge full band.
Oh, yeah, he did travel with the band, with some of the String Cheese guys for a while.
yeah.
I think,
I saw him. I think it was within the recent year. It was right before I started the podcast, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Maybe I saw him in March.
Oh, cool.
Probably
Yeah.
March.
I haven't seen him live in a long time, and so I'd like to see him again. It's been 10, 15 years at least.
I used to post that I'll be playing an acoustical gig here somewhere. I posted on Facebook, and I remember one time somebody I didn't know like corrected me on my page. They're like, "It's acoustic,
Right.
edit," you know. And I was
Acoustic
like,
gig. Oh,
"Cool,
yeah,
on."
the grammar police.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Some like some. Do you think somebody's counting how many Facebook posts get started but deleted? Is somebody doing a study of how much that happens? Because every time I'm like, I'm not sure if a comma goes here, and I don't want to hear the crap about if this comma goes here, so the status is out the window.
Oh, well, my wife is an English teacher in Bigsby, so she corrects me, or she corrects everyone. She's like, "Oh my God, this monster put an apostrophe here where there shouldn't be."
Yeah. I like every time I use the word "to," I'm like, I have to use it in sentences like "to," also "to," and probably still wrong half the time. I don't know. If I didn't have Lourdes editing the description in every episode,
Yeah.
it would be so bad. I send it to her, and she's like, she fixes it and sends it back.
That's great.
She's the brains of the podcast, and I
cool.
just sit here and hang out. And,
Hey, that's fun.
And laugh.
I'm having a great time. It's
Man,
fun.
me too. We've already described, I guess, what tow truck is.
Yeah,
Let's
the tow
talk
man.
about-
Yeah, tow man. What? Go ahead.
What I said, tow truck.
Tow truck. Well, hey, people they say, "Travis, play that tow truck song." I
can't-
mean, literally, that's what they
I
request.
can't get over TOE, man. Every time you say it, that's what my brain goes to.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why I said tow truck man. The tow man.
That's what people call it. That can't remember the name of it. It's like, can you play that tow truck song again? Literally, every time we play somewhere, it's not the tow man, it's the tow truck song. So, yeah,
Well, it is what it is,
and it's cool, and people like it,
and people are requesting it. So
they do request it a lot. That's probably our most requested song when we play gigs. So yeah.
Where can people connect with you?
Well, the regular website, traviskid.com, KIDD. And people ask me all the time, is that my real name? It's like, have you never heard that last name before? It's like, there's Jason Kidd, he plays basketball, and then there's Captain Kidd.
Yeah.
You know? But no, yeah, traviskid.com. I've got a couple of Facebook pages going. There's my main personal page, and there's the Travis Kidd music page, which I'm trying to push more towards that. The other one of the pages is filled up, and so I've got a part 2, and then I've got the Facebook,
Yeah.
and Twitter, and whatever. Yeah.
So is it at Travis Kidd on Twitter?
Twitter is Trav Kid, TRAV Kid. Yeah, Trav Kid.
Double D.
Yeah, but you can access it all from the main website. There's links from traviskid.com.
Yeah, and your website's beautiful.
Well, thanks.
I was stalking you.
It was just one pager. Let's make it simple, and there it is.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. And I'll see you. If I don't see you before, then I'll see you next week with Thompson Square. Where's the casino?
It's at the River Spirit Event Center, which is their concert hall at 81st and Riverside here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and we have to hit up KVOO for tickets.
That's right. There's a few places in town you can pick up free tickets.
I know. We got ours from Camille's at 61st and
That's
Yale.
right.
You just walk in there, don't spend any dang money, just get the tickets and get out.
Is that right? Is that what you do? You just ask for a ticket? Or
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Again, the brains of the operation did that. So, but I think you just go in there and ask, and that's cool. It's a free concert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see you play with those guys. I
Yeah.
like their band a lot, and I think you'll have a good time.
Cool, yeah. I need to probably listen to some of their stuff so I can familiarize myself more with them.
I probably only remember the singles, but I remember the fun night seeing them at Cane's.
Cool, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for you, man.
Well, cool,
thanks,
man. Well,
thank
thanks.
you, thank you so much for coming and.
Yeah, I'm glad to be in the basement, man.
Yeah,
this is a real deal. It's for reals in the basement.
I'm gonna be moving soon. My lease will be up, and I gotta get the heck out of this place because just.
Got to find another basement.
I know. I'm concerned about the possibility that I might have to record podcasts that aren't in a basement
Above ground.
Like I was actually, yeah. I don't know if I can handle the pressure difference. You know what I mean? This 3 feet we're underground. This
It's kind of cool.
It's I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's like a cave, kind of a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to search for a place that has a basement because I didn't even know basements existed in Tulsa until I got this one.
Man, I think this might be I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of basements either.
Yeah. So
It's a pretty sweet basement.
I'll just, I don't know. I'll have to go. I'll just have to check myself into the hospital and hopefully I get a basement room.
There's got to be more basements.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Well, again, thanks for coming. It's traviskid.com.
Yes.
KIDD.
Yep.
That's important.
They got to have that.
And then I'll see you around. See you around town, man.
Thank you, Jason, for having me on. This is great fun.
Yeah, I've had a blast. Thank you
Cool.
again.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you guys for listening, everybody. I'm gonna close this out with Tow Truck Man. Just kidding. The Tow Man, the original version, the rockin'.
This is actually like the album version, because the original version was for the radio commercial.
Yeah.
The rap version. So you're the only one that has a copy of that.
Excellent.
It's
That's really cool.
unreleased. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But this is this number one track off of our album right here.
And it's available everywhere?
iTunes, and it used to be available in stores, but I haven't seen them. It was in Best Buy in Hastings for a while, but mostly
We're on the internet now, man.
Internet, and I sell them at every gig. I've always got a selection of stuff to sell.
So this is an invite. Everybody come hang out with us. We'll watch Travis play.
Yeah.
We'll watch Thompson Square play, and then we'll be back at home in bed early. But man, isn't it crazy? I do this every time. I'm like, bye. Let's talk 20 more minutes.
Oh, I know.
Isn't it crazy that December is here? Like, it's upon us.
Man, it's crazy.
Have you had a good year?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a
me
good
too.
year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is the
The
year.
weather's been great.
I started a dang podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
I like it. I like that old podcast.
So listeners, thank you. If you love this episode, please share it with somebody. And I have to ask, I hate asking for people to do things, but could you please on iTunes rate and review this podcast with 5 stars? Because below 5 stars is failing. But that helps out. That helps get us on the iTunes charts, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Definitely.
So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you, Travis. And here's the Tow Man.
It is.
Well, I ran off the road late last night. My phone wasn't working, not a soul in sight. 10 miles out from Telluride, it was cold, so cold, it was freezing outside. I started walking, heading back to town. Had some time to kill, so I burned one down. Then in the distance, coming straight for me, sounded like a Boeing Luke's General Lee. It was a big old diesel with a lift on the back. Loaded my car up on the rack. Said, mister, I'm getting you out of here. The tow man's coming, you should never fear. Ain't no man like the tow man. Ain't no man like the tow man. Ain't no man like the tow man. Ain't no man like a tow truck driving man. Oh yeah. Well, the way back home was a hell of a ride. 80 miles an hour down the mountainside. He got so messed up from the stuff he was smoking. Took a big hit, then he started choking. How did you know? Ran off in the ditch. Got ran over by a son of a rich man. Waiting by the phone, it's gonna ring. The tow man knows most everything. Ain't no man like a tow man. Ain't no man like the tow man. Ain't no man like the tow man. Ain't no man like a tow truck driving man. Oh yeah. Well, the way back home was a hell of a ride. 80 miles an hour down the mountainside. He got so messed up from the stuff he was smoking. Took a big